Hey guys, this is Miss Jacobson again. Welcome to day 2 of writing question poems. Yesterday we looked at some examples of question poems and thought about what the purpose of a question poem is. Then we TP casted an example. Today, you get to write your own poem. So again, our lesson goal is we will be able to create our own poems using a mentor text as a guide. Yesterday we read the poem, Would I Still Be Me? The central question of the poem that this poet is asking is, what makes me the person who I am? Let's look at some of these little things. Would I still be me if those were different? What about some of these big things? Would I still be me if those things weren't true? So take a second. Pause the video if you need to. Think about what makes you, you. So, we're going to go step by step through this poem. Step 1 of planning your poem is to open the page in OneNote called Question Poem Planning Page. There are going to be multiple boxes, and those boxes will have instructions on them. For instance, one of the boxes says what you eat. You're going to fill in as many super specific details as you can while you brainstorm. So this is my example. So where it says what you eat, it says be specific. For example, don't just write pizza, write what you like on your pizza. So some things that I put in what you eat. For me, I put chamomile tea with lemon. I don't like my chamomile tea unless it has lemon in it. I need something to kind of balance out the flavor. One of my favorite dinners to eat that's really easy to make is Greek salad, but I don't like the bitter tasting bell peppers, so I'll only put in the sweet colors of bell pepper, the red, the yellow, and the orange. And I won't put in the olives because I hate olives, and that's different from most Greek salad because most Greek salad has olives. Okay, next box says what you wear. Well, when I'm not at school, when I get to wear whatever I want, I wear a lot of dark colors. Navy blue, black, wine red. Notice I'm not even just saying blue. Navy blue, black, wine red, plain gray, and teal. Because teal is my favorite color, but it's a bright color, so I couldn't lump it in with the dark colors. Again, when I'm not at school, I'm kind of a lazy dresser. I like to wear old t-shirts. I wear a lot of Star Wars t-shirts. I wear some band t-shirts. But I'm not like a super fashionable dresser. I like to be comfortable. What do you listen to? It says, what genre of music do you like the best? Who are some of your favorite artists? So I'm less about specific genres than I like to listen to songs that have really complicated lyrics, like really deep lyrics, or that have references in them to other things that I know about. But if I had to pick genres, it'd be like folk, or indie music, or classical music. And so I like to listen to Florence the Machine, I like Hozier, I like Lord, Schubert, the Waylon Jennings, who's a folk band that I guarantee none of you have heard of because I'm old. But you see how we're filling in with just some really specific details and we're getting all the specific thoughts from our brains onto our paper. Then, step 2 of planning your poem on that paper is going to ask you to go through the boxes that you filled in. You're going to put a check mark by the things that are super important. If these things were different about me, if I didn't like these things, or if I felt differently about this, or if this thing was not true, that would make me a completely different person. And then you're going to put an X by the things that aren't that important. Like they're true about you, they kind of influence you, but if they were different about you, then it wouldn't make you a completely different person. So like one of the boxes on your graphic organizer is going to say what you're scared of. Well, I'm scared of uncontrolled heights. Like I'm fine with roller coasters. I'm fine with anything where somebody is controlling it, but like climbing up a mountain would scare me. I am scared of wasps, hornets, and bees, stinging insects. Keep them away from me. And I'm scared of losing my family because my family is super important to me. So like one of my greatest fears would be something to happen to my family. But if I look at those 3 fears, uncontrolled heights, not liking bees, not liking wasps, like if those things were different, if I actually enjoyed heights, if I weren't afraid of bees, that wouldn't make me a completely different person. It's not that important to who I am as a person. So I put an X next to it. But losing my family, if I wasn't afraid of losing my family, that would make me a completely different type of person than I am. So I put a green check mark next to that. The next box says what you're like. Okay, so I cheated a little bit because maybe I should have had a red X somewhere in this box, but I put I'm a science fiction nerd, I'm an avid reader, and I love to learn new complicated words. I think if any of those things were different, that would make me a very different person than I am. So I put green check marks next to all of them. Then it says, what else? Use this space to list any other facts about yourself that come to mind. Well, I love to write with purple pens. Like, I'd rather write with a purple pen than a blue pen or a red pen. I collect enamel pins. I've got them on a cork board at my apartment. And I'm the oldest sister to 3 younger brothers. And so all of those things are other facts about me. But if I liked blue pens better than purple pens, nah, that wouldn't really change who I am as a person. So I put a red X next to it. If I didn't collect enamel pins, that wouldn't change who I was. It was a long time before I started collecting those, and if I stopped collecting them tomorrow, it wouldn't change me as a person. So I put a red X next to it. But if I hadn't grown up as the oldest sibling, like the oldest kid in my family and a sister to lots of brothers, I think that would probably change my personality some because I wouldn't be as responsible. I wouldn't, like, if I had grown up with sisters or brothers, I just think I would kind of act differently. And so I put a green check mark next to that because it helps me understand the things about myself that are important. Okay, so here's the next step. Once you've gone through and you've brainstormed everything, and then you put an X or a check next to it, you're going to use the example that we read together to write a poem. You're going to title it Question Poem. So you have to make a new page in OneNote and title it Question Poem. And you're going to ask yourself the same kinds of questions that they did in the original poem. If this was true or if this was different, would I still be me? You need to include some things that aren't super important, that don't necessarily make you who you are, but that are still true about you, as well as some things that are important to making you who you are. So some things with the red X and some things with the green check. Make sure that your reader can tell from your poem which items are which. And then you're going to end with the line, would I still be me? After you finish writing your first version of the poem, you're going to read through it and pay attention to how it sounds. Does it flow? Does it sound almost like a song? Is there any way that you can change it so that it flows better? Then, most importantly, you're going to ask yourself, if somebody I didn't know read this poem, would they get a good idea of what makes me, me? And if not, what can I change or add to make the poem tell them more about who I am as a person?